Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to present my PhD topic, which is about approaches to improve the long-term outcomes of oncology survivors. My name is Noémi Podráczky. I'm a first-year PhD student and a fourth-year pediatric resident at the Pediatric Center, Semmelweis University. My supervisor is Miklós Garami, and my SMS is Mark Hernátfői. Our statisticians are Gergely Agócs and Boglárka Szentes, and our vision together is cancer survivorship without preventable harm. And our mission is advancing the prevention and treatment of cancer therapy-related toxicities. We have two specific goals at this moment. The first one is about the treatment of hypothalamic obesity, and the second one is about the prevention of a serious consequence of bone marrow transplantation. I would like to start with my first topic, which is about investigating the efficacy of multimodal interventions on hypothalamic obesity in brain tumor survivors. This would be a systematic review and meta-analysis. About the background of this topic, we treat patients with brain tumors every day, and the outcomes are better and better, but the treatment, the surgery, the irradiation comes with serious consequences. One of them is serious damage to the hypothalamic region, which causes severe, rapid, and persistent vein gait. And this happens in about 50% of brain tumor survivors, which leads to morbid obesity. And I don't have to tell you about the serious consequences of morbid obesity, such as metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, and the most serious one, which is early mortality. And there is an unmet need here that there is no effective treatment for hypothalamic obesity, which leads to a higher mortality and a decreased quality of life. Current treatment options involve hormone replacement therapy, lifestyle measures, pharmacotherapy, occasionally bariatric surgery, but the effects are only modest. The most promising one is the GLP-1 receptor agonist, which can have an effect of 13 to 20% of weight loss. But we can see here that the effects of these interventions are really variable, and we need to investigate them further. That's why our aim is to investigate the efficacy of multimodal intervention on HO in brain tumor survivors. We have a clinical question, which is, do multimodal interventions decrease BMI and increase quality of life in brain tumor survivors with HO? We use the PICO framework with the population being brain tumor survivors with HO, the intervention being multimodal interventions, comparator being pre-treatment BMI or placebo, and our primary outcome would be BMI. Our hypothesis is that, yes, individualized treatment can lower BMI and improve quality of life and metabolic health of survivors with HO. And the clinical implication, if it's true, would be to develop treatment algorithms to minimize the consequences of HO. We drafted the search key and run the systematic search with two domains, the first one being brain tumor and the second one being hypothalamic obesity. We conducted the systematic search on the 4th of December. We got around 3,000 articles on 3 databases. There is no meta-analysis on this topic, only a systematic review. There is one previous Prospero registration, but not with the exact topic we are approaching. Here's the detailed search key with the same 2 domains approved by everyone needed. And we have 3 key articles. All of them are about GLP-1 receptor agonists. And we can see in the outcomes that there are variable outcomes, which highlights the need to investigate further this question. So about 3,000 hits were found on 3 databases, and after the duplicate removal, we have about 2,100 articles left, and we are doing the title and abstract selection now with my 2 pairs. Our topic is feasible, it is registered on Prospero, and the duplicate removal is done. I would like to introduce my second topic, which is about investigating the predictive value of blood biomarkers for sinusoidal obstruction syndrome in pediatric bone marrow transplantation. This would be also a systematic review and meta-analysis. About the background of this topic, sinusoidal obstruction syndrome, or SOS, is one of the most serious early complications of pediatric bone marrow transplantation. It affects about 2 to 14% of children undergoing transplantation, and it has higher than 80% mortality. The cause of this SOS is that the damage comes from the conditioning therapy, either irradiation or chemotherapy, which causes sinusoidal endothelial injury, leading to a blocked hepatic blood flow, which leads to liver failure and then multi-organ failure and then rapid clinical deterioration. There is an unmet need here that these patients are diagnosed really late because the early symptoms are non-specific and the current risk factors are not accurate enough to identify the high-risk patients early. The possible solution could be early biomarkers such as preconditioning uric acid or IGF-1. They might help detect SOS before the clinical symptoms appear, and this would let us use preventive measures which would lead into improving outcomes. Our aim is to assess whether blood biomarkers can predict early SOS in pediatric bone marrow transplant patients. Our clinical question in pediatric bone marrow transplantation: do novel biomarkers improve early diagnosis or risk stratification of SOS compared with standard clinical risk factors or normal biomarker levels? We use the PERT framework, the population being pediatric patients undergoing bone marrow transplantation, the index test being novel biomarker levels such as IGF-1 and preconditioning uric acid. The reference test would be standard clinical risk factors or normal biomarker levels. And the diagnosis of interest would be early diagnosis or risk stratification of SOS, or this would be about sensitivity and specificity and predictive values of this disease. Our hypothesis is that, yes, early biomarker levels can improve the identification of pediatric bone marrow transplant patients at high risk of SOS compared to standard clinical factors. And if that's true, that would be a huge clinical implication because personalized prophylaxis and early intervention could be used in these cases. And I would like to summarize my two topics. We plan to submit them before the end of next year, both of them. And I would like to end my presentation with a quote from Albert Szent-Györgyi. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. I was just wondering what role does pituitary hormone replacement therapy has in hypothalamic obesity?
Thank you for your question. So it is really crucial in these cases, the hormone replacement therapy, because this could be a really good base for any other treatment options for hypothalamic obesity, such as hormone replacement therapy for thyroid hormones and cortisol, which could help us better the condition of these patients.
Thank you for your presentation. Regarding your second project, are there any other emerging predictors other than IGF-1 or uric acid for prediction?
Yes, thank you for your question. There are other predictive biomarkers being under research. For example, inflammatory markers such as interleukin-6 or coagulation factors such as von Willebrand factor. These can help us also to predict this condition because they have a role in the pathogenesis of this sinusoidal obstruction syndrome, which is caused by the damage in the coagulation pathway, and it's caused by also the inflammation in the whole system.
Thank you.
Thank you for the nice presentation. And what is this bariatric surgery for the hypothalamic obesity? I just wonder, I've never heard about that.
So basically, it's surgical options to make the stomach smaller. It's like the physical step to eating, basically in these cases, which is a really like severe intervention. It's rarely done in children.
So it's not as specific for the hypothalamic obesity, but just for the general?
It's general bariatric,
Thank you.
yeah.
Just concerning your first topic, so as far as I remember, just based on your question, you would like to investigate not only the GLP agonist, but also other modalities, right?
Yes.
But based on your key articles, you could find only where the intervention is GLP analog.
So this topic is really heterogeneous. So we are still looking into it. These were the ones that made it feasible, but there are a lot of articles that now are like the
and
titles.
What would you like to investigate? I mean, comparing the effect of GLP agonist and what others? I'm just asking, what would you like to compare to each other?
Yeah, so most of the articles are either comparing pre-treatment BMI or so one patient before the treatment and after the treatment. So we not only would like to investigate the multimodal interventions compared to each other, but each of them separately as well, like a subgroup analysis.
And would it be a big surprise if, for example, these analogs are considered to be effective? I mean, in other obese population, it works usually. Mm-hmm. So would it be a surprise for you?
No, these articles already suggest that they are the most promising ones. Yeah. But as I mentioned in the background section, this hypothalamic obesity it's a much more complex.
That's why I'm asking, because maybe these analogs, even if they work in other obese population, maybe here no. That's why I'm asking, because the mechanism is probably different.
Yes, we'll have to see as I mentioned in the key articles, the current articles are already read thoroughly. They suggest different outcomes in different populations, so
there were quite significant weight losses in the articles. I could see that. Okay, thank you, Noémi.